Look, if you're tired of working your ass off and still not getting rich, this video is your wake-up call because I've done over $115 million in sales and I'm gonna show you the exact brain hack that made it all feel effortless. Now, every rich person I know this, and you can call it whatever you want, but what I like to call it is dopamine loading. It's, making yourself feel better by doing either natural or artificial things, and we'll go through that. And the benefit is that it will then make hard things become easy. So when you're thinking of things that are hard for most people to do, it's the gym, it's meditating, it's working, it's staying focused. Those types of things will then become easy. And the way you can understand this is, first, let me show you how most people go through life. So if I take this right here and I show you a graph, and this is time through the day, and then on this side we'll do activities. Sorry, my handwriting's not better, guys. I should have paid more attention in preschool. But most people, what they'll do is they'll start here and they wake up, right? So we all wake up every single day. First thing they do is they reach for the phone. So they get a spike here with social media. Then they have to start getting ready for work. So their dopamine goes back down. And then they have some cereal, right? Something sugary. So they do that. And then they drive on the way to work. And then they get bored at work. So they watch YouTube, right? And then they're trying to actually get some work done throughout the day, but they get bored. So then they go and they text their girlfriend, right? And then after that, they try to go back to work, and then they'll have a snack in the day, so it's sugary, and so on and on and on. This is how most people live their lives. This is actually why most people are not successful, because they just constantly cannot stop doing these things. And to me, it's actually really simple. It's actually really easy to understand. First, to understand this, we just have to understand what our natural stimulants are and our artificial stimulants are. And I'm gonna actually show you my day and how I actually handle this, right? Because this is what most people are doing. So imagine if you're going up and down constantly throughout the day, it's super, super hard to be successful, let alone rich. So in terms of natural, these are the things that you have to do some type of activity to usually get the stimulant. So we'll do exercise, right? So for me, I will exercise 6 days a week, 2.5 hours a day, about 45 minutes of cardio. The rest of the time I weightlift. Yes, you could say that's over the top, but I'm also trying to be a top 1% guy. So I want to do that. Right now I have, I think it was 9 to 10% body fat. I'll show up a shirtless selfie right here. And by next week, I should be around 7, because I'm trying to drop another 10 pounds, which when you're getting super lean, it's actually quite a bit. The next thing is then you can work, right? So shooting videos like this, I actually get a lot of stimulus out of this. Ironically, most people will look at this and go, hey, this looks really boring. Like, are you even having fun? I love this stuff because when I start my day, if I start my day and I go to the gym, and I'll show you my day in just a second, but if I go to the gym and I keep my stimulus low and I don't have caffeine and I'm listening to podcasts, which is what I do, and then I come here, this is way more exciting and stimulating than like me at the gym listening to a podcast at 5 in the morning and there's really just not a lot of people there, right? The next one after that is then, we already said exercise, but working out, right? So basically those are kind of the same. Now, if we go to artificial, these are probably the biggest ones. There's a bunch, but these are the biggest ones. Most people are using sugar. Sorry, I can't spell. Let me try that again. Sugar, okay? Most people are using sugar. And I think that's actually one of the biggest issues in this country is people are not even eating because they're hungry. They're just eating because they're bored, right? So if you can learn to control that, that's a big thing. But a lot of people use that. Porn is gonna be the next one, right? Lots of people are watching porn. I'm not here to judge or say it's good or bad, but I think the consensus is using it definitely is not a good thing, right? I don't think it's like something, hey, I watch a lot of porn, like I'm in a really good place. Like, I don't think that's the way you need to think about it. And then finally, social media. Now, I am on social media, but a lot of times I'm producing, I'm not consuming, and that's kind of the big difference. So me shooting this video right now, yeah, I'm getting some dopamine, but if you go on social media and you're scrolling all the time, I mean, you guys can just understand everything that's going viral is trying to get an emotional response. So it's like you get angry, you get sad, you get mad, you get glad, and you're just going up and down all day long, which in my opinion makes it really tough. So what I try to do that's different from other people is most people are dopamine loading very early in the day. And so they're having a really hard time getting stuff done because at the very beginning of the day, they hit their dopamine load really, really hard. For me, what I do is I try to put it towards the back of the day, okay? And just for context, that doesn't mean I don't ever watch Netflix, right? I never get on social media, or I never watch YouTube. I do, but I strategically place it at the end of the day. So what I wanna do next is I wanna walk you guys through my schedule. So my days usually will start at 5 a.m. I get up pretty early, I go to bed pretty early. I just find it's more productive. It helps me build my businesses, run my team. It's really efficient. I don't really enjoy going to bed late or waking up late. That really makes no sense to me because as soon as I get up, my phone is getting flooded with messages. So if I get to get up at 5 a.m., I already notice like that helps keep my dopamine down first off, right? So I'm not getting hit with messages all day. So the first thing I do is I go to the gym, okay? And that usually will run till about 8:30, give or take. It depends, right? Because when I'm getting to the gym, I'm taking my peptides, stuff like that. Now, when I'm at the gym, I will only listen to podcasts, okay? I don't listen to any music. The reason for that is I'm trying to learn, and 2, it keeps my dopamine low, right? Keeps it super, super low. And I'm gonna show you what this looks like on a graph in just a second. Then I'll come back and let's say at 8:30, I start to work. Now, work for me is one of the 3 things pretty much. It's either I get on a call with a very high level client who's paying me, $98,000 a year. I'll shoot YouTube videos like this or shoot reels, something to do with content. Or number 3 is I'll be strategically planning something for the business. I guess 4th would be I'd be in Slack, so talking to my team. Now, once I start working, it's about 10 a.m. right now, and I've just finished my my calls with my team. We already did like a few hours of work. Now I'm getting into these YouTubes, right? So I'll pretty much work, depending on the day, till about 6 p.m., maybe 7, okay? And I just rotate between this. Now, in between there, you know, just, you know, some people bring this up like, yes, I eat lunch. Yes, I go to the bathroom, like, you know, normal stuff. But that is pretty much all I do all day. So my dopamine is staying super low. I'm not texting. You guys can notice there's no phone. My phone is actually not within reaching distance. I don't have a TV in here. Like, this room is very boring. Right now, I'm not saying you have to do that, but it's easy for me. And especially when I'm traveling, I'm moving around the country, this is the best way to do it. So I have all that done. And then from about 7 to 8:30 is when then I will dopamine load, right? So I don't always do this, but then I will do Netflix or YouTube or a movie, or I'll be texting, whatever you want to do at that time, because now, because all that stuff's done, it's fine to kind of be unfocused for a few hours. But imagine if I did that at the beginning of the day and then tried to do it at the end. So we saw a normal person's graph, right? So I'll make this one like half screen. And this is pretty much what a normal person does. And then they say they can't do anything, and then they have to get on medications and all this nonsense, which in my opinion, like a lot of the medicines out there, this is a totally different topic, to each their own, but I think a lot of the medicines out there are because people just can't focus. And the reason they can't focus is because of this, not because they have some mental deficiency or something like that. Imagine 200 years ago when there were no cell phones, there was no internet, there's none of this stuff. Like, focusing would be a lot easier because that was the only thing you could do. What I do is I pretty much go through the day. I get up, I keep it low like this, and then towards the end of the day, it goes like that, and then I go to bed, right? So I get all my loading at the end of the day. Now, I think in the grand scheme, you really shouldn't be doing any of those things like porn, you know, video games, like any of that type of stuff. I don't see a huge benefit for it, right? Now, if you can see some benefit, or maybe there's some research out there that like, hey, playing video games like really helps your, you know, dexterity with your hands or something, I don't know. But to me, if you can at least get rid of it, at least try to manage it. And the way you manage it is you kind of block stuff. And if you think about this in work, this is really easy to understand, because if I'm trying to do things in work, I want to block things. So right now I'm shooting YouTube videos. I'm going to shoot this one. I'm going to shoot another one. I'm going to shoot another one back to back to back. Why? Because shooting a video now and then taking a break and then shooting one 2 hours later and then taking a break and then shooting one 2 hours later literally makes no sense, because I'm constantly shifting between it. So the thing is, people know they're doing this. They just don't think about it when it comes to actual dopamine. If you can do this, I promise you, you'll be a lot more successful and you'll be way more rich. It's not even about cutting these things out. It's just making sure when you start your day, keep things super simple. And then something I forgot to tell you guys in between here is, because I am so healthy and I stay in such good shape, I don't really get a lot of loading when I eat, because I have to eat pretty healthy. I eat pretty clean. I get meal prep, and that makes everything easier. So when I do go out, or I do enjoy myself at a dinner, like I had a dinner with my parents the other day, it was like a private 18-course dinner. Yeah, like I had some extra stuff that maybe I wouldn't usually have, but it started at 7 p.m. and ended at 11 p.m. It was actually way too long. When I'm working and I'm going through the week, I'm either fasting, so actually today is the second day of a fast for me, or I'm eating very healthy food. When I say healthy food, it's just stuff that grows in the ground, okay? Stuff that grows in the ground, grows on trees. Like, if you need someone to point that out to you, like, it's probably not healthy. If I do that, or when I do that, I notice I'm a lot more successful. I get a lot more things done. I sleep better, my energy's higher, and I don't crave kind of these things at all, because when you start adding these things on top of it, so let's say you're eating bad, or you're getting on social media or whatever, you're gonna notice your brain starts craving it even more, right? So the more you do it, the more your brain needs it, and then it just really makes it really hard to be successful. So now that you fixed your brain, I wanna fix your business. Click the next video where I show you the exact funnels I use that made me over $115 million right here.